Yeah, Joe, welcome. Thanks for coming on the show.
No
How
problem.
are you? Are you good?
Good. Yeah, all good. Just
Yeah,
good news. The government have eased the lockdown's going to be finishing, so we can get back
yeah,
to normality hopefully soon. So yeah, all good.
yeah. No, I think everybody's been waiting for that, haven't they? Everybody wants to get out for a pint.
Yeah, everybody's desperate, absolutely desperate, and get the kids back to school. I think that's the main thing.
Yeah, I've heard that quite a bit. I mean, just a bit of information on Joe. He's an ex-pro footballer. You know, he's played at a multitude of clubs, and you've represented your country under
Yeah,
21s for the Republic of Ireland.
up to under 21s. So all the different age groups up to under 21s. Yeah.
It's impressive, mate. Yeah, and you've also played Champions League football as well.
Yes. Played Champions League football back in 2008. Played in the Champions League, and we played for a team back in Ireland called Drogheda United. So yeah, we played in the Champions League at the time, and we were very, very unlucky at the time not to get through. We played Dynamo Kiev. In the knockout stages, and we got knocked out on goal difference in the end.
I bet you were over the moon to be chose to play for in the Champions League, though. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, do you know what? It was kind of, at the time, it was like, Champions League, Europe, fantastic. It was great for the town, Drogheda. It's a fantastic place.
Yeah,
people are so passionate about the football club as well, and it was really, really, really great time to be part of the club. Yeah, and as I said, we played really, really well. We had a really good team, really, really good team.
Yeah,
in Drogheda, and we were very unlucky.
well, yeah, you're not going to win them all.
I know. To be fair, the club kind of, after we got knocked out of Champions League, the club had some financial difficulties.
Yeah,
Ended up going into administration in the end, which was a big shame. But I always think if we'd have got through that round, it would have been financially very good for the football club. But it was, so that was the unfortunate thing.
Yeah, no, it's the same. It's similar with the FA Cup, isn't it? For the lower league teams, it can change. It can completely change the course of direction that club's going in. You know, if they manage to get through a certain amount of rounds, and I could imagine, obviously, it'd be very beneficial, obviously, for Drogheda.
Yeah. No, it was a good time.
Yeah, no, good. So, how did you actually become a professional footballer? Where did it all begin, Joe?
Do you know what? It began. I'm from a place called Ballybrack, which is in South Dublin. So, every day it was out playing football. Nothing else to be doing. Out playing football. My mum and dad calling me in all hours at night, trying to get in, kicking a ball against the wall. So it began really early. I come from a footballing family. My dad was a good footballer. My uncles were all good footballer. They were all connected in the local area. So it was kind of natural that I'd pick up football. So kind of, it's just, it was everyone on the street. That's all we ever did was play football. And I loved it. And I was fortunate enough to play for a couple of local teams, a team called St. Joseph's. I started off with Ballybrack Boys, actually. And then I played for St. Joseph's Boys, which is probably the best schoolboy team in Ireland as well. So,
right, okay.
it was great. Loved it. Loved playing football. Out with me pals, playing football all the time. Just, brilliant.
No,
Best ever.
So is that way? Did you get picked up by Newcastle? That's where you started. You started at Newcastle United, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. So I kind of, as a kid, we played for St. Joseph's. I played for a very, very successful schoolboy team, and we won the leagues. We played in the Nike Cup. It's like it was a European competition. It did really well. And then a few of us got selected to go over to Newcastle on trial, and Newcastle offered us contracts. So that's kind of where it started. Prior to going to Newcastle, I went over to Blackburn Rovers a couple of times as well.
Okay.
On trial as well. So I was probably nearly going to go there as well. But ended up at Newcastle. Newcastle signed 4 of us from the same team, believe it or not. So there was myself, a guy called Stephen Brennan, Thomas Hawkins and Neil Phelan. So 4 lads. They signed four young lads from Ireland. So I came over to Newcastle on my 16th birthday.
Okay. No, that's cool, man. That's cool. Yeah, and it says here that you stayed there for 4 years. Is that correct?
Yeah, 4 years. So stayed there up until 2003, and then left and went and played in Germany for a bit as well. So yeah, I stayed there for 3 years, 4 years. Sorry.
How did that move happen? Like, I mean, look, obviously I've got a few questions here, but I mean, we'll go into sort of you moving to Germany, but you also went to Azerbaijan as well.
Well, we could spend all night talking about that. But yeah, so I was when my contract was coming to an end at Newcastle, I was told they weren't going to renew it. So through someone at the club, Charlie Woods, who was the chief scout at Newcastle, he arranged through Bobby Robson as well, arranged for me to go out to 1860 Munich and have a look around the facilities and things like that. They were interested. They'd heard some good reports, etc., etc. And so went over to Germany and then spent a week there training, and then got offered a 3-year contract. So my next move was kind of to Germany, to 1860 Munich, which it's a fantastic club as well. Fans are really loyal. Munich's a lovely city as well. So
yeah, I was going to say Munich sounds, well, from what I've seen, I've never been, but it looks like a really nice city. And also is 1860 like in the lower divisions of German football, but they're mad for it over there, aren't they? In lower league German football, the fans, like you're saying there, they are like massively turning the swaves like week in, week out.
Crazy for it. So we went 1860 Munich. It's a bit like Manchester United, Man City. So you'd find obviously Man City are bigger now, but because you got Bayern Munich, and then 1860 Munich is obviously the lesser of the two. Well, success-wise anyway, with titles and things. But when I went there, they were in the Bundesliga. They were in the first league.
Oh, were they?
So I remember my first day in training. Ika Hassler, Zucker played for Arsenal. So I went over for a week to train with them. Hassler, Zucker were there. So I was training with them guys for the week. Fantastic players. All obviously coming to the end of their career.
Yeah.
Very, very helpful. Hassler had been a World Cup winner with Germany. Great people as well. Really good. So they made me feel really welcome.
No, yeah, I can imagine. I mean, that brings us on to another question: is who is the best player you've ever played with? Like throughout your whole career, I'm sure there's a lot of people you'd love to pick. Like, but out of all of the players that is there anyone that really stood out?
Played with? Oh, it's a tough question. I've played with some really good players. Played against probably. Roy Keane. Played against Roy Keane.
Actually, he's just started his own Instagram.
I know. I've seen that.
In February. Yeah, he's grown very fast. I think he's got like 1.2 million followers now. Like he's only been on it since February.
Crazy. Played against Roy Keane. Played Philip Lahm. Played for Germany. Played against him.
Yeah. He was a great footballer. Like
great
Philip
footballer.
Lahm. Yeah,
fantastic lads. I've played with a couple of guys at 1860 Munich. Striker called Benjamin Louth. You probably don't know him. He's a German international. An Australian guy, Paul Agostino. He was a good player, good guy as well.
I'll have to check him out.
Newcastle, obviously, I played with. Came through the youth system with Peter Ramage, Michael Chopra, Shola Amiobi.
Oh, lovely.
Gary Caldwell, Stevie Caldwell, Brian Kerr. Played with some good players at youth level at Newcastle. So some of them were fantastic players. Had good careers as well. So all really good guys as well.
Yeah, Amiobi's ace.
Shola had a great career, and he's had a very good career. So and he's doing very well. He's at Newcastle now as well, part of the coaching setup, I believe.
I know his brother Sammy played for Bolton, which is my team, but he's currently at Nottingham Forest now. He's just won goal of the month, I think, in January. Was it January or February?
Yes,
I think it might have been February.
That. Yeah, I've seen that.
Fantastic goal. And you know what? He's Sammy, when I watched him, is just a fantastic player. Like he'd get hold of the ball and he can carry the ball and he'll put it in the back of the net as well, at the end of it. So but he always held the ball up really well, and he's always been able to carry it really well as well.
from an international perspective, obviously played with some international players. Aidan McGeady. Played I think my under-21 debut for Ireland. He played in that game. Who else? Wes Hoolahan. I don't know if you know Wes Hoolahan. He's fantastic.
I know Hoolahan, yeah. Is he at Norwich at the moment?
He's at Cambridge now, I believe.
He at Cambridge?
Fantastic player. A guy called Stephen Brennan as well, who I played with all through the youth setup at Newcastle. Okay. It was very unfortunate. He had the worst hamstrings in the world. He had always getting injured. But he was a great player as well. He was very good. He was very unlucky actually.
It's never nice when really good players, are sort of strung back by injuries and, obviously don't reach the full potential, which is never nice to see, really.
Yeah.
Obviously, I keep coming back to you playing in Azerbaijan. What was it actually like over there, and how did you manage to play over there? What happened? Because that's a really random place to go to, isn't it, to play football?
It is. So basically what happened was we obviously Drogheda, we played Champions League. And when we finished playing the Champions League, we got knocked out. Drogheda United, the team I was playing for, came into some financial problems and they went into administration. So literally out of the blue, got a phone call. A team called Neftchi Baku in Azerbaijan. They're looking for a left-sided player, left back. They're looking for actually 3 or 4 players. They're interested in 3 or 4 players at Drogheda at the time. And you're one of them. Would you like to come over and have a look around? So I was like, first of all, where's Azerbaijan? I remember still to the day, I was on my phone, I was having a look at Azerbaijan, and so then went over, same process, went over for a week, had a look around, put us in a nice hotel, kind of went to the training ground. Everything looked decent. It looked decent, Obviously, they offered me quite a good contract as well. It was at the time when Drogheda had financial issues and financial troubles, so it was like, right, okay, let's go for it, kind of thing. So, but yeah, it was just after I went back, when I went to sign my contract a couple of months later, it was just a crazy place. I don't know if you've ever been to any ex-Soviet countries. The people literally.
I've been Hungary, and that was, even then, that's a bit crazy there.
Yeah, Azerbaijan, it's a crazy place. The people, very, very, there's no kind of, there's either really wealthy people or really poor people.
Right.
Really kind of, and it's kind of, it's a bit of a dictatorship. I'm not getting involved in politics here, but the president has been president and his father was president. They've run the country for a long, long time.
Yeah,
so it's very, very, very corrupt country. But when the football was poor, the football was really poor. The standard of football was really poor. But we had a German coach at the time. He was a really good guy. And then when he left, kind of, it was a case of, right, the German coach has been sacked. All the foreign players, we want you to leave, kind of thing.
All right, okay.
So that's the way it was. And it was kind of, got a bit intimidating. It was like telling us the wrong times to turn up for training. And they wanted us to leave, basically. They wanted
just to made it as awkward as possible.
Oh, yeah, it was horrendous, some of the things that we went through. So, yeah, we kind of, another guy called John Tambaras and me went. He's an Aussie guy. He was at Drogheda as well. So both of us kind of ended up leaving, and then we, they told us not to report for training, and they tried to sack us, and it was just a really bad time. But luckily, we went to FIFA, went to the FIFA Court of Arbitration of Sport, and we ended up kind of, suing the club basically. So we ended up being successful. But it was a really bad time because I'd come from playing at Drogheda, Champions League, good level, and then kind of had that. So it was like there was lots of other stuff that went on. But you know what? You learn these things. To be honest with you, it was a contract I couldn't turn down. A very, very lucrative contract. So
it's fair enough. You've got to do what's best for you, haven't you?
Yeah.
No, I get it. Who's the biggest team you've ever played against then, Joe?
It would be Dynamo Kiev.
Probably
in the Champions League when I played for Drogheda. Obviously, I've played lots of pre-season games against different teams. Actually, when we were at Neftchi Baku, we played against Feyenoord in a friendly. Obviously, youth level. I've played against all the different youth level teams. But yeah, probably the Kiev game was the kind of highlight.
Yeah. You played for Blythe Spartan for quite a while. What are you thinking of their current situation at the moment? I know that they've just. I'm pretty sure they've just discontinued their season.
Yeah, they have. So basically, I left kind of. I was at Mansfield Town. That was my last professional club, and I was suffering my back. So I'd just been diagnosed with arthritis in my back. So I kind of, professional football wasn't for me anymore. So I ended up, a friend of mine was manager of Blythe Spartans, a guy called Tommy Cassidy. Okay. So I ended up going back to the northeast. We had a house here, me and the wife, and played for Blythe Spartans. Again, really good club. Yeah. Really, really good club. Probably ran for the same group of people for a long time. They probably need a bit of a change there, if I'm being honest. Okay. Fans would probably agree with me. But yeah, good club. Obviously, at the moment, the season's been halted. Yeah. Simple reason is, they could play 3 more months or 2 more months of the season. But for a club like Blythe Spartans, you've got quite a lot of outlay on players, on travel. So I can see why the league's being voided, really. It makes sense. Commercially, it makes a lot of sense to the clubs because they don't have a lot of money.
No, of course.
But yeah, so that was, it was, again, I enjoyed my time up there. I was captain up there for a while. Enjoyed my time up there at Blythe Spartans. So it's good standard of play.
Yeah, no, it's held in quite high regard, especially in the northeast. If you're from the northeast, everybody knows Blythe Spartans, along with a few other clubs. But Blythe Spartans is one of those lower league teams that's well known. Yeah. I mean, you've played a lot of football over in Ireland.
Yeah.
How has that differed, from playing in the lower leagues of the English divisions, i.e., like for your Mansfield and your Torquay United? You played for Torquay United for a bit?
Torquay United is a story in its own. I went there to sign for Torquay. But I only signed for them and was with them for a day. So it's a very strange story. Got a call from my agent, said Torquay, you want to sign you. Flew down the night before, trained in the morning with Torquay. Ian Atkins was the manager at the time. Problem was the contract. I was going to sign a non-contract with them, play like a weekly contract with them, but I wouldn't have been insured. So if I'd got injured or something like that, I wouldn't have been insured. Right. So I ended up kind of agreeing to part ways after a day. It was, the agent was involved and lots of stuff happened. But I ended up officially signing for them, but unofficially not signing for them, as in I never played. I was there for a day. But unfortunately, weirdest stories, man. It was a bit strange. So I didn't sign for them because of insurance and things like that. They wanted me to sign on a non-contract basis because they were in a situation where they couldn't sign any players to contracts because of financial reasons. Right. It was a non-contract, a non-contract they were going to sign me to. But again, was there a day, signed, then ended up couldn't get insured, so I left. So it was a bit of a strange one.
How was Mansfield then? Because I know that you signed for them, didn't you?
Yeah, played for Mansfield. Really good club. Played there just under probably about 7-8 months or so. Again, it was full-time football, so everyday training. Yeah, really good. Great to kind of get back to the full-time playing every day. But the main problem when I was at Mansfield was my back. I couldn't train properly. Right. Kept having problems with my back. So that was my last professional club, and then I moved on. Moved back to the northeast to play for Blythe Spartans. But really, really passionate club, passionate fans, really passionate fans. They love the club, and if you lose a game walking off the pitch, they're hurling a lot of abuse at you. Even if you've played well, you'll know about it. So anyone who's played for Mansfield will understand where I'm coming from there. The fans are really passionate. And they love the club. I enjoyed my time there. It was good.
Good stuff. Yeah, no, brief. I mean, it's a shame You're talking about your back injury. Is that just something that came about, or was it through a tackle or a certain sort of movement, or it just naturally happened?
I, I think I developed it in 2005. So when I'd left 1860 Munich, I moved back to the northeast and I played for Darlington. In my second season with Darlington, I was having a lot of problems with my back, and kind of went to see a specialist. And they said, "Oh, you've just your L1 and L2 discs, the cartilage is starting to wear away and bulging. The discs are like you've got bulging discs."
Right.
So it was kind of like, right, okay, what do I do for it? What's the treatment? Well, there is no treatment. So progressively from 2005 onwards, like my last season at Darlington, it flared up really badly in the last couple of months of the season.
Yeah.
In fact, I didn't play the last 6 games in the league. And then my contract didn't get renewed. But it was just really bad. I was at a really bad stage and spent some time out of the game. But that kind from 2005 onwards, just kind of every season, it was just managing it. Tablets, diclofenac, paracetamol, trying not to go in the gym as much, trying to low level pressure on your back. So
yeah,
it's horrendous. I live with it now. I've got it every day. It's, like I'm sitting here now. If I sit in the same place for a long time, it starts to flare up again. So
yeah,
it's just something I've gotten to live with. And it's something that in 2011, when I left Mansfield, I just couldn't. It was the rigor of full-time football, training every day. Anyone who's played full-time football knows you've got to train most days. Training's intensive, high intensity, and unfortunately, my body just couldn't do it anymore. Ability-wise, I had the ability. I could play football, but being like a left-sided defender, you're coming up against wingers were only getting quicker, and when you're getting slower, it's
it's not good, is it?
It's not good. You're getting slower, and they're getting quicker.
Yeah.
So it was a case of I left, thought, right, let's go back to the northeast. Let's get a bit of a career behind me, and then I can still play semi-professional at Lloyd Spartans. So I left Mansfield and went on loan back to Lloyd Spartans. And the manager at Mansfield at the time, Paul Cox, he was more than reasonable with me. You know what I mean? I explained the situation, my back. I think, actually I went to see a consultant in 2011 and he kind of advised me not to play football anymore. So it was kind of, that's how serious it got.
Yeah.
So kind of anyone who's living with it at the moment, it's called osteoarthritis.
Right.
And it affects lots and lots of people. But I've got a really bad case of osteoarthritis in my back.
So do you think that's come about genetically, or is that something because of the rigorous amounts of intense exercise that you've done over the years is sort of triggered that, and that's why you've got it?
Yeah. Do you know? I think where it came from was when I was a young player at Newcastle. The training was quite intensive, and
such a young person.
Yeah, such a young person. I think they put you through the mill. In pre-season, they ran you to the ground, pounding hard grounds. So I think it kind of developed over the years. But by 2005, it was just it started to really kick in 2005. So and then by 2011, after another 6 years, I just was like, I think I was 29 or 30 when I retired. It was just too much on my body.
Yeah.
But with going part-time at Lloyd Spartans, for example, you train one night a week.
Yeah.
And you play on a Saturday. That suited my back. My back was able to cope with that.
Yeah.
So that's why I kind of dropped out of professional football.
No, fair enough, mate. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, you wouldn't expect it. I mean, I've played with Joe. I mean, he moves a lot faster than a majority of us young people.
I wouldn't say that. But I suppose when you're at a professional level, when you're struggling with your back and you're not as sharp, you're not moving as quick. You can play with the ball, but when you can't track back, and especially when I played a lot of my career at left back. As I said.
Yeah.
The right wingers, I knew at Mansfield when we played, I thought, these right wingers aren't getting any slower. And my back just recovering and things like that. I just couldn't move as much anymore. Couldn't move around the pitch.
It's a shame, man. Shame.
Yeah.
What was your time like at Newcastle? Did you enjoy it?
Great, brilliant,
Yeah.
brilliant football club, brilliant people. All the staff. I still know a lot of the staff connected with the club. Fantastic club. Best time of my life in football, as in, that real ground. And we trained at Maiden Castle.
Right.
We trained at Maiden Castle, then we trained at Chesley Street. And then before we moved into the training at Long Benton. But yeah, it was a fantastic club. Great time. Young lad at Newcastle. Some of the players I played with, trained with. Some of the first team guys near the end of my time there, I trained with Gary Speed, Alan Shearer, Warren Barton,
Gary Speed,
Lauren Robert, Kieran Dyer, Jermaine Jennis. Trained with all these guys near the end. Yeah, at the end of my time at Newcastle. Fantastic players, all went on to have great careers. Great time to be at Newcastle. Loved it. Really, really good coaches. Good, yeah. I'm a big fan of the club now as well. Big fan. I want them to do well. Unfortunately, obviously, different owner these days than when I was there. But yeah, it's great. I'm living in Newcastle now as well, so it's kind of been part of. It's a big part of me as well.
Yeah, definitely, mate. Yeah, Newcastle's ace, man. I love it here. So good.
Yeah, great city.
Especially being from Salford, like actually coming up here, it's just different kind of people, very welcoming. No, fair enough. What are you doing with yourself now then, Joe?
So I kind of, when I left Mansfield, when I came back to the Northeast, I got a job at Sage account software. So I worked there for a while. Then I worked for another Manchester-based company selling construction software. And now I work for a company called Viewpoint. It's an American company. Actually, we're owned by a company called Trimble. So we do construction. We sell construction software to the construction industry, contractors. So yeah, I'm in the UK now, head of sales for new business in the UK. So yeah, it's a great company to work for. Again, kind of came out of football, and I thought, what am I going to do now?
What are you going to do?
And the wife was saying, what are you going to do now? And it was like, so unfortunately started at the bottom, but yeah, worked my way up, and I love what I do now. It's a proper 9 to 5 job as well. So not from football days where you've got a 9 till 12, but yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's great. Really good company. Work with some really good people as well.
Good stuff, man. No, I'm really glad to hear that. That's one of the things that I was saying to you before this. Like, I spoke to Jack, who used to be professional football, and you were saying, sort of, I mean, you've had quite a fruitful, sort of career. You've been able to go through, and get to like 29, 30, and then decide, right, I'm gonna leave this. Yeah. And he was saying, a lot of young people aren't as lucky, like, to get to that point, but they get to a certain point where it's all they've known, and then the rug gets pulled from under them, and then they don't know what to do with themselves, like, which I think is dreadful, like, when you think about it. But I guess that's just the way football is. It's very cutthroat, isn't it?
Yeah. Do you know what? The one thing I would highlight is the PFA. They just don't do enough for players. They might go on about they do this and they do that. They don't. I retired in 2011 through injury. I haven't had one phone call. Yeah. Not one phone call to say, hi, Joe, how are you getting on? Or, how's life? I agree. And that organisation in particular, they've get funded a lot of money. That needs a radical change, the PFA in England. Because, you can ring them and they can give you a grant and they can help with some university, college courses and all this kind of stuff and give you a monetary contribution. But having that kind of person at the end of the phone or people to speak to and kind of reaching out to you, I deal with I speak to a lot of ex-players and they're of the same opinion. It just doesn't do enough for ex-professionals. So Jack, for example, you've just mentioned there, they should be putting things, keeping in touch with them, putting them in the right direction, putting them on some courses, trying to get them into some kind of job environment. That's one thing I'd flag up. Just it's not. Graham Taylor, I know he's the head of the PFA. Well, he's probably going to be leaving soon. it can't come quick enough to have a change within the PFA, because
Yeah.
it's not good enough now. It's not good enough it doesn't support players enough, in my opinion. A lot of people might differ with me, but I can only look at my own experience when I retired in 2011. As I said, never had one phone call from them. Never had even a letter or an email, or how are you getting on, or how's life?
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
No, it's just those little things, isn't it? Just to check in on people and make sure that they're all right. I mean, it is a common occurrence. Like there's so many stories, of people, being in that situation. So it's not like you're just making that up. It is like a common occurrence. So
yeah, and it's I'm a bit different. I had like young kids, so I kind of didn't have a choice. When I left football, I had to reinvent myself. So I went out and I got a job, and because I had people's mouths to feed, as to say, I had kids and a wife. But young players today who are coming out of the game at 19, 20, 21, they've got no experience. They've got nothing. They've got no qualifications. They need help. They need guidance. You know what I mean? I would love to get involved in something like that in the future, because I can give so much advice to young players coming out of the game.
Yeah,
but again, it's now they've got, there's nobody gives you anything for free. You've got to work hard, and you've got to but they struggle because they're like me. They're used to every day putting the boots on, going out and training, playing a game on the weekend. But when that changes, it's crazy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I can imagine. You get used to a certain sort of, not necessarily certain, luxurious lifestyle, but a certain routine. And if that's all that even in everyday situations, like it can be hard to quite, adjust in all sorts of situations if you get certain, if you sort of that's all you've known. So I understand that. Yeah, I obviously really appreciate you coming on and
I
obviously
enjoy
taking the time to actually just speak about you and your career and stuff like that.
Yeah.
No, I do. I really appreciate that, mate.
It's been good. It's good to talk, because I don't talk about football. Like even the kids, they'll go to school and the dad's in the yard and things like that. They'll ask me questions, but I don't get to talk about football that much. Believe it or not, my wife's sick of football. She when I put it on the telly, she's like, "Oh, football again." I had 20 years of following you around playing football. I like talking about it. A lot of things. I could have done a lot better. A lot of things could have done a lot worse. But injury is the big one for football. It's gets a hold of you. Some players retire young, and my back just really did have a bad effect on me, unfortunately. But I had a great time. Went to some great places, and still kind of involved today as well. So it's good.
Yeah. You're currently managing a side, aren't you? Is that right? Yeah.
Yes. So Prudhoe Youth Club. Yeah. So they were in the Alliance Division 1, which we were top of. And COVID's obviously hit, so I think the season's going to be null and voided. So involved there. Great club, really good one. I want to kind of get up a couple of levels. Great bunch of lads as well, really dedicated. So I'm really enjoying it. So I'm manager there. Got a couple of good coaches that are helping me out as well. So it's just staying involved. It's getting out on the weekends, and kids are a bit older now, so I can get away with it. I can get away with it. I still don the boots the odd time, although I did put them on there a couple of times last season, and the next day I couldn't get out of bed with the stiffness. But so I'm still enjoying it, still involved.
Walking around like you had rickets and all that,
I'll be in a wheelchair. That's what wife says. When you're in the wheelchair, don't worry, I'll push you around when you're in the wheelchair.
Oh, bless her, man. Bless her. No, Joe, honestly, I love you, mate. Thanks for coming on anyway. And obviously, I really appreciate you taking the time to come on, have a chat about you. I'll definitely get you on again. And, hopefully I'll try and get some more people on, and we can all just have a chat, some ex-pro footballers, and all have a natter about something,
Definitely. I know loads of lads as well who'd love to come on and, give you their, could like to talk about, what they've done and where they've been and things like that. Yeah, definitely. That's been good, mate. Good catching up with you as well.
Yeah.
We'll have to catch up after lockdown and have a beer.
100%. Yeah, well, I mean, I'm having a beer now anyway.
I know, and I'm cup of tea.
Never stops for me, mate.
No, but I
Right.
maybe hope to keep well, mate, and